Hello, my name's Jon Sermon. I'm with you again, whether you've been watching me before or not. The fact is, I'm doing regular short videos to try and offer some encouragement to our people in this difficult situation. I'm a church leader based in the UK. Now, the news we're getting at the moment, well, for months, it's been dominated by the coronavirus pandemic and its knock-on effects through the lockdown and so on, then the complications of how much is lockdown being eased in which ways, and we're still getting an awful lot in our news related to that, some of it of great concern, like the wild street parties that have been happening in parts of London, like the overcrowding of beaches in the hot weather we've been having, and it seems that society is being divided, not in the ways we've been used to, but between those who want to be cautious and those who want to throw away caution and try to pretend it's all over. One of those sayings that we have in our language, well, there's an opera version, but the slightly politer version, it isn't over until it's over. And that's probably helpful to us at the moment, because the fact is the coronavirus isn't over. And the risk, if we do not remain sensible in these gentle steps of easing the lockdown, could be a second peak in infections, more problems, more pressure on the NHS and so on. And yet today we've also had news unrelated to the coronavirus, as well as all sorts that are loosely related, like having street parties when we shouldn't because of social distancing and so on. Slightly related, I suppose, the fact that the football season was delayed but is now back underway without crowds, but the news that the football results from last night mean that Liverpool now has an unassailable lead and will win the Premiership title. My wife grew up on Merseyside, and in the school you had to support either Liverpool or Everton, and again people were divided on that. She's quite delighted because she was always Liverpool. Anyway, the one that is not, as far as we know, related to coronavirus is the appalling incident of a knife attack in Glasgow. One police officer very seriously injured, and the suspect shot and killed by armed police. I think there were about 6 people with knife injuries in all. And you know, it worries people, me included, that when we've got so much that we have to cope with because of this deadly virus, we're getting the related stuff, like inappropriate ignoring of social distancing in various contexts, and we're getting the possibly unrelated stuff, but we still get awful incidents like that. And another of today's news stories was some absolutely terrifying allegations about how some police officers are said to have disrespectfully dealt with murder victims. And again, this links to the sheer feeling that came out of the protests following George Floyd's death, Black Lives Matter, and so on. And one of the things we're coming to terms with for ordinary churches like mine, which is predominantly white in the congregation, is that it's no longer enough not to be racist. We really need to work harder on being anti-racist. And I think that one is really important, that as the lockdown eases and we're beginning to come out of the worst of the pandemic, we're certainly not out of it, and it's not over until it's over, but as things are gradually changing, and some of the activity of the church is returning, and we can connect with people more than we were doing in various ways, really working on that to redress wrongs of the past and continuing to actually become not racist, but anti-racist is something I want to encourage us all to, whatever our racial background. The fact is that God has no favourites. God does not regard races as superior or inferior. God does not judge by the colour of our skin or any other arbitrary criteria that we are used to using. From God's perspective, every single one of us, that's you, whoever you are listening to this video, every single one of us is loved absolutely and of incredible value to our God and Creator. And everyone is invited to know Him and know the benefit of a relationship with Him, which is so helpful in such difficult times. God bless you.